Well, hello. I think I've mentioned before on this channel that about my desire to have a pen from every continent. I am now one continent closer thanks to this pen from Argentina. So let's take a look at this Muñeca pen from the Eva Perón era of Argentina's history. So this is the Muñeca. When I pick it up, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I've decided to call it a Muñeca 55 because of that. The cap kind of reminds me of some of those Schaefer caps that have that same striated design. The barrel, I've not done the greatest job cleaning it. That's kind of how I roll. A little cleaning, but that's about it with, just paper towel. Maybe I should have gone over it with the microfiber now that I look at it, but I didn't. The inside is pretty clean because I used pen flush and all that. Homemade pen flush. Here I noticed, let's see if I can find the beginning of it. I actually noticed this as I was setting up the film. So right here it looks like it says, I have no idea what. Looks like initials. Initials, and then industry, only it's in Spanish, Industria, Argentina. Argentina? Is that how they say it? So, I can't quite make out those initials. They're in script. And even when I used my loop, because I did try, it kind of looks like an LPM, but it meant nothing to me. So, yeah, that'll have to wait till I do a more formal review. So, other than that, there are no other markings. The pen is almost a hooded nib. Metal finial, just a plain finial. Unscrew it. And it reminds me a bit of a Parker 51. And there's that same kind of stylized L. So I'll need to research this pen, figure out what that stands for. So we're going to ink it up with something. I was given this whole big grab bag of inks. So let's just see what I grab. I'll just shuffle it around. I'm not looking, but you're just going to have to trust me. Okay. Oh, I just saw a name I want to try. Mandara. Ha! Want to try that one, but that's not the one I grabbed. So we'll just be honest. The one I actually grabbed was Krishna goldfish. So, I think there are goldfish on the same planet as Argentina, so we'll go with it. I knew it would bubble because I've done this already with water. Usually with these kind of fillers, I'll squeeze and then let it fill a little. Let the sack expand. Because this looks like a silicone sack. Then I'll do it again a few times. And at some point I say, oh, the ink level's not going up anymore. Yeah, it's not. And I think the sack isn't the most energetic expander either. So I didn't get quite a full fill on that, but when you're this age, you probably won't fill up that well either. As long as it doesn't leak. So I don't know if this really is a Muñeca 55, but I'm going with that. The ink. Now I just ran into the thing with hooded nibs. You can't always tell if it's rotated exactly right, and this does have a bit of a sweet spot. So this is a Krishna specialty. Wow, goldfish. That ink seems a little too dark for a goldfish to me, but it's just me. I'm pretty sure this is a steel nib. In fact, I'd be really surprised if it's not. But while it's not a flex pen, I can definitely coax some line variation out of it. So that's not bad. Wetness and flow. If you don't mind a slender pen, it feels fairly comfortable in my hand. And I don't mind a slender pen. I mean, that's kind of my deal. I like vintage pens, so if you don't like vintage, or if you don't like slender pens, probably best to stay out of the vintage world. That wasn't bad. Smear test. I'll be curious to see how this handles the Pierre Gustafson test. It does seem to skip, but again, I think part of that is just me getting a little catterwampus with the nib. And, of course, for those who are into that kind of thing, reverse writing. It actually feels exactly the same, and it looks exactly the same. And finally, the world-famous Pierre Gustafson test. Yeah. Okay, it failed. But the Pierre Gustafson test, remember, is an extreme test. So it's like if I take my Toyota Camry through the Badlands, not on the road, and it gets stuck and it can't go up steep hillsides or it wallows in the mud. That doesn't mean the Toyota Camry is a bad car. It just means I'm making the Toyota Camry do things it's not meant to do. Toyota Camrys are happier on roads, preferably paved, but they'll put up with an unpaved one. But you don't go off-roading in your Camry. Apparently you don't go off-roading in your Muñeca either. One other test I always like to do with the pens. Yeah, and this is a little thicker shirt, and it just slipped in the pocket with no problem. So I'm pleased with that. So all in all, I won't go off-roading with this pen, but I think for what it's meant to do, which is right, I'm pleased with it. Not thrilled, not excited, but pleased. And what I am excited about is one more continent off my list. So Africa, I'm coming for you. Show me your pens. I should have an Australian pen arriving soon. I'm kind of hoping it's in the post office when I go down there on Friday. We'll find out. And actually, probably by the time this is broadcast, I'll know if it was in the post office that day or not. So, anyway, if just remember, this is a first impression. You saw my first writing experience with it, my first experience with it, other than cleaning it out. So opinions may change up or down as I use the pen. And that's the danger of a first impression. And at some point, we may revisit this pen. So, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.